Pilots, thanks for tuning in to Motion RC. This is your pilot Ryan. We are going to show you tonight how to hook up the blue box that comes in the MiG-21, the FlightlineRC Bearcat, and the FlightlineRC TA-152. More FlightlineRC and Freewing planes will be utilizing this box in the future. So we're going to dive right in and I'll show you how to hook it up. The only difference between the MiG-21 and the Warbirds, Bearcat and TA-152 box is the fact that on this MiG-21, which we're using to illustrate tonight, the elevator and rudder do in fact utilize the blue board, and that's because there are elevator and rudder wires here coming out of the blue board to get to the receiver. The blue board for the Bearcat and TA-152, however, does not have the single wire elevator and rudder coming out of the blue box. So with that being said, there would be no way to get the signal to the receiver without just bypassing that board. So that's simply what you do. Elevator and rudder on the Warbirds goes directly to the receiver. The landing gear provides the power. So that's the common ground that is shared among the rest of these. Without having the landing gear plugged into a powered receiver, you're not going to see any action with your services. So don't plug these in and think something's wrong until you've got them all in, because that's what's going on. The landing gear must be plugged into a powered up receiver. We'll go from the blue box to the receiver right now. Aileron channel 1, elevator channel 2, rudder number 4. And with the one wire, you treat that orange wire like the other orange wires. So if on your receiver the orange wire is up, on the one wire lead, the same was going to be true. That one wire will be up. 5 is landing gear. Now this is the only one that is 3 wire, and it powers the blue board so your surfaces actually move. And then flaps number 6. Now that that's done, I'm going to pull the throttle from the ESC and go ahead and plug it in. White wire up to correspond with the orange wires up. Everything's in. So the receiver work is all done. The only thing left now is the servos from the plane and the landing gear need to go to the blue box. So landing gear. I'm going to go ahead and start at the top on this one. Now you can see how there are 2 spots for landing gear on the right. One of those will be for the nose landing gear because this is a tricycle gear aircraft. Now the next landing gear lead, I'll just mirror this for now. Noting polarity, orange wire to the inside, there it is. I'm starting at the top. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the nose gear next, and there it is. The next lead is rudder, and that is rudder on both sides. Remember, there's a steering servo on the MiG, so there will also be, and that's what this lead is right here. Now my nose steering and nose gear are hooked up right here. Now the rudder from the plane, the actual control surface, will be next on the other side. Rudder, 2 landing gear, nose steering, which is rudder, 1 other main, and the actual rudder itself. Next is the elevator, and you're going to have 2 of those. One is going to be a reverse servo, so you'll see a white lead instead of a orange one. And here is the other. On the Warbirds, you will not have rudder and elevator being plugged into the blue box. They go directly to the receiver. I know you've heard me say that, but it's true. The next thing to be plugging in is aileron. Aileron. And the other aileron. The last but not least is the flaps. And 1 more flap, and that'll be a reverse. Noting the polarity, orange wires are always inside, And here we go. And it's the same on both sides, with the exception of there's a tricycle landing gear situation here. So you have 2 landing gear. When it says gear number 5, it means landing gear. Rudder will be listed, and for both sides, one is the nose gear steering, one is the rudder. Elevator, 2 servos for elevator. Aileron, 2 servos for aileron. Flap, 2 servos for flaps. This box eliminates the need for a lot of extra Y connections and whatnot. And again, you've already seen from the blue box hooked up to the receiver. And because it's the MiG-21, everything goes to the blue box and then to the receiver. On the Warbirds, you will not be using the rudder and elevator ports on the blue box, because there are not rudder and elevator leads coming out of the blue box to the receiver. But otherwise, they're exactly the same. Pilots, as always, thanks for watching. I hope this helps. This is the blue board how-to tutorial for the MiG-21, the Bearcat, the TA-152, and the future more FlightlineRC and Freewing aircraft will be using this E16 blue box. Please refer also to your manual to see the schematic of that as well. Thanks again. This is your pilot Ryan. See you next time.